Hello listeners, and welcome to Let's Chat, one of a many-yet episode where we have a guest speaker sharing their amazing journey towards a better way of being through a teaching, a practice, or from a passion of helping others from mainstream or complementary healing practices. Today we will be chatting with Claire Cunneen from LV Chair Yoga Australia and owner-instructor of Zumba Fiesta. Claire is from Sydney and is an expert in her field. Claire holds a bachelor's degree in sport and exercise science and is a qualified yoga therapist, among many other certifications. Claire has been in the fitness industry for more than 20 years. During this time, Claire has developed a passion for helping others to live not only a healthy life, but a happy one. Claire is dedicated to creating exercise sessions that are welcoming and inclusive for everybody. Her classes are not only beneficial for the physical body and improving physical health, but are also fun, empowering, and inspiring people to feel happier, healthier, and to live their lives to the fullest, no matter who they are or what stage of life they are at. Claire's goals are to improve the lives and positively impact all who she comes into contact with. Doesn't this sound like something you need to know more about? And what a difference of scale in this repertoire towards a better way of being, chair yoga, Zumba. So come on listeners, how about it? Let's get ready and let's chat with Claire Cunneen. Hi Claire, and welcome to A Better Way of Being podcast. It's wonderful to have you join the program here.
Hi Sharon, it's so good to be here. Thank you for inviting me on.
Awesome. Claire, looking at all you offer and all the study that you've done to date, it is quite clear you certainly have a passion for helping people be the best of themselves in well-being. And I am looking forward to hearing all about the chair yoga, your yoga therapy and Zumba. But can we go back to perhaps, was there a part in your journey where this all started? You know, what led you to be doing what you're doing now?
Well, I actually started doing aerobics Oz style on the TV.
Okay.
So my cousin came to stay with me. She was doing her aerobics certificate in Sydney. She came from the country, and we were getting up and doing it on the TV, and then I ended up joining the gym, and then I ended up doing my aerobics certification. So that's kind of where it all started back in the 90s. Started being an aerobics instructor, and then from there I started doing other modalities as well, you know, like Pilates, and then I got into Zumba, and yeah, Zumba led me actually to chair yoga, which is an interesting way to get there, but hey. So I was teaching Zumba Gold because I ended up working with quite a few classes, seniors classes along the way. Somehow I just sort of fell into that work and I really enjoyed it, and the benefits just amazing. So I was teaching Zumba Gold, which is a Zumba program a bit more designed for seniors. And one day we just did 3 breaths, and at the end of the 3 breaths at the end, they just all went, ah, and I just had a light bulb moment. It was like, I need to do some kind of yoga or something with them, but I wasn't a yoga teacher yet because of my career of high impact, 5 classes a day, many injuries, keep working on the injuries. My body, I believed that my body wasn't a yoga body, right? So I was hesitant to do the course because I thought I wouldn't be able to, you know, keep up with everybody else and all of that kind of thing. So I ended up finding chair yoga course in New York, and who doesn't want to go there? I was a bit obsessed with New York at that time in my life anyway, so I was like, great excuse, let's go over there. Couldn't really find anything in Australia for that population, and in the terms of yoga and that kind of side of things. So I went over there and did the course, and it was just great because it made me feel comfortable in being a yoga practitioner and teacher. And I started
Yes.
understanding how I could adapt things for myself. Or because it's funny in classes, I say, so I went to New York to do the chair yoga teacher training, and that was really great because that gave me kind of permission in myself to do things my way, really. It kind of gave me a
Yes.
way of adapting things and understanding how to practice for my body as well as to teach other people's individual needs as well. Because I never really learnt that in fitness. It was we had sort of had options, but nothing
Yeah.
like what we learned in chair yoga. And it's different. It's always kind of a prescription, and there was not a lot of deviation. I mean, you could, but yeah, it wasn't taught so much. And then in classes, yoga classes that I've been to, the teachers never really bothered to give me options or
Oh,
to
okay.
sort of look at you and then walk away if you weren't doing something. So you just be sitting there doing nothing. So I realized how important that was as well, because I had experienced that feeling. And a lot of people say to me that's why they don't go to yoga, because they feel scared of it. It stresses them out. They're not flexible enough, or they're not good enough, which is some of the things that I felt myself, you know. So as soon as I got back from that course, then I a studio owner called me. Actually, I was going to a studio and he just called me, and I think it was my birthday, and he said, you should do our course, it's starting this weekend. And I was like, wait, I'll call you back. And I remember I was just driving down the street. I remember the moment. I thought about it for a second, and then I was like, right, I'm going to call him back. And then I just called him back and said, okay, I'm in. So I did my yoga training and my chair yoga training that same year. And then I went on after that because I realized the amazing benefits of yoga, to do yoga therapy, which is really, really awesome. Working a bit more specifically with individuals or small groups and helping them to get to the issues so they can heal themselves, basically. So yeah, so that's sort of how I ended up where I am. And then I started doing the teacher trainings because I realized we need more of this type of yoga teaching out there, where it is accessible and inclusive and truly empowering for the students. And we need more teachers like that out there. And we also need more options for people that aren't able to get up and down off the floor as well. So I needed a community around me too. So it was an added bonus to have all these people now in Sydney who teach the same kind of style of yoga as me, and I can call on them whenever I need, and we can offer support for each other. So that's how I ended up doing the teacher training. So and then I ended up here.
Yes, fantastic. And from aerobics to yoga, it's quite a difference.
I told you I'm a Gemini, right? Two sides.
Yeah, but that's good. We need that yin and yang.
Yeah, definitely. They go so well together too. And what I like about Zumba especially and yoga is they're both working on helping people become more health free within themselves, and more happy and more healthy. And it's just a different way of getting there, you know.
Yes.
So I really find they work well together.
Yeah. Well, you've already started to touch on it. So maybe we could start with just learning a bit more about chair yoga and what is the whole purpose and benefits behind doing yoga in a chair.
Yeah, well, if we do it in a chair, it means that everybody can access it, really, because everybody's sitting, right? Most people. But even the teachings, if someone was, say, bedridden, we could adapt this practice to someone that was in a bed and teach them there as well. So that's the beauty of the way that we're kind of learning how to teach our classes. But basically what happened was the person that created chair yoga, so there's also Iyengar who used chair as a prop, and that's been around for a long time, but this is a little bit different because this is actually chair yoga where the whole practice is done seated, and it's not the chair as a prop, it's actually like an extension of your body. So it's a part of you, it's a part of the practice for the whole time. So it's a little bit different. So the person that created that, who I did my training with, is Lakshmi Volkar, which is the LV in LV chair yoga. And she came up with that for one of her students who had rheumatoid arthritis and couldn't practice on the mat anymore. She was just in her 30s, and that was a way of helping her to be able to continue her practice and also to get back on the mat, which happened eventually. So really beautiful way that it came about. And that was back in the 80s. And it's just such a beautiful way to just help everybody be able to access the benefits. You know, there's so many benefits. There's the physical benefits, but you also have the emotional, the mental, the energetic benefits, because yoga looks at the whole being, right? So it's not practice. A lot of people come for their exercise, but then end up with so much more. Sneak it in there. So it gives people options. And you know, the beautiful thing about being all seated is there's no hierarchy. There's no one that's like thinking I'm better. And the way that we teach is to give options as well, all the way through, for every single thing that we do, to teach progressively and to teach in a way that's kind and encourages people to decide for themselves where they need to be on that particular day. And then there's no judgment, and there's no anyone looking at each other go, oh, they're doing that, but I'm only doing this, because whatever you're doing is valued as the same. There's nothing that is better than another thing to be doing. The only right thing to do is the right thing for you, right? So and that I think that should be applied everywhere, but it's definitely a good place to apply it when we're doing chair yoga. You know, a lot of the people that come to chair yoga are those that need different options and different places to be. And by doing that, we can have everyone in the same class at the same time. So it's a beautiful experience, whether someone's in a wheelchair, whether someone's a school kid or a grandma, or you know, we can have everybody there at the same time, an office worker or whatever. So it's really beautiful.
Fantastic. I had never heard of chair yoga until a time where I always used to go to yoga, do the mat yoga, and I had an accident, broke my leg, and still wanted to have action to my body and move it, all the rest of it. So I still went to yoga, but did it in the chair. And the benefits of helping you just stay mobile while you're in recovery, and you know, which took me through to being recovered, is fascinating. And here we are talking chair yoga, and it is a fascinating and, like you said, readily available option for people to start their way to fitness.
Definitely, yeah. And that's, I think, the key that you just said there, is it's readily available. I mean, how often are you just sitting around or waiting for a bus, or on a bus even, and you could do some yoga practice? And you know, it can really be done anywhere, any chair, anywhere, as we say. But you know, I mean, it doesn't take, you don't have to get changed, you don't have to. So people in offices, it's fantastic, because they're just sitting at the computer all day, and they can just take even a 1 minute or 2 minute break during their day. Often, you know, they don't have to change their shoes or bring out their yoga mat, and that is, I mean, research has shown that like that continuous movement during the day is what actually prolongs your life, or helps you stay healthy for longer, rather than that one class at lunchtime or in the morning or the afternoon. It's that continuous movement every 30 minutes or whatever during your day that's actually the most beneficial. So for people like that, I mean, it's just right where they are, right? So they don't have to put too much effort into getting there to do it. They do it where they are. It's like the yoga comes to you. You don't have to go to the yoga.
That's fantastic. And do you do similar poses?
Yes, we can do anything that you do on the floor, you can do on the chair. Some things you have to be a bit more creative about, but if you always try to think of, instead of what things look like, because I think we have gotten so obsessed with what things look like in the Western world. In many yoga classes, it's all about achieving mostly unattainable state for most people, and certainly for certain joint structures or arm lengths or body sizes or shapes or whatever. It may never be achievable, and yet we're pushing people in all of these Sorry, my cat's coming in.
Oh, that's okay.
You might see an ear pop up in a second. We're pushing people into these shapes that are dangerous for them, you know. So yeah, so it really gets. Oh, now I forgot. Sorry, what was your question? That's my Gemini going off there.
The poses.
Oh, all the poses. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, so we're pushing all these people. But so if you get creative and you start to think about what does it feel like and what are the benefits of what we're doing, you know, that's way more important anyway than what it looks like. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's really why we should be practicing yoga, is those benefits. So, you know, certain poses are good for calming the energy system or the nervous system, and certain poses are energizing, you know.
Yeah.
So what are you practicing for? You know, what do you need on that day? And then tailoring your practice to suit is really how we should be practicing yoga. You know, that's what
absolutely.
it was designed for. Yeah.
Yeah, and without the pressure of having to get into some of those pretzel shapes that are out there on the mat.
Because it really does scare people away. I mean, even if you look at the hashtag chair yoga on Instagram, I mean, people get scared away from that because there's people doing all kinds of contortionist things on the chair, which is fine. But it would be so nice to see a lot more representation of actual chair yoga instead of just using the chair prop to make your body into a pretzel shape, as you said.
Yeah.
Which it has. I mean, hats off to them. They can do some amazing things.
Absolutely.
but yeah, there's place for that too, and there's place for everything, you know. But yeah, you can do everything. You do arm balances, you can use another chair, you can use props, you can do everything. And the best thing about being on the chair, I think, is that you have the opportunity to offer a lot more options and a lot more of a progressive way of teaching, like through the sun salutation, for example. When you're on the mat, you can't really offer that knee down first, can you? You have to have knees up and then put the knees down, because there's no way to get on the chair. You can definitely do it so that you can have a different option first, and a little bit more freedom there for people.
And it's still getting people moving. That's what I love about the chair yoga that I've come to know and love now, is there are still ways of getting you to move. And in all honesty, having done the program with you and years of mat yoga beforehand, I've actually never felt stronger than doing chair yoga through my whole 20 plus years of doing yoga.
And that's amazing, because people really truly believe that you can't build strength or balance, or that it's going to be too easy for them. Chair yoga. Oh, I'm not ready for the chair yet. That's why.
Yes.
But they don't understand how much strength it builds up, and it's just amazing. And the legs, everything gets stronger from it, and it's just really incredibly surprising for a lot of people when they give it a go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can actually agree with you totally there. I actually feel the majority of poses, to me, and again, we're all unique individuals, and the poses feel a lot stronger, and I can engage the muscles that I'm supposed to be engaging in that particular pose with more strength and confidence with the chair.
I find the chair has really helped my mat practice as well. Like things like Malasana, the yogic squat, practicing that on the chair, my legs used to burn in that, and I think I also had a bit of fear of falling, actually. So interesting that you was talking about the confidence, because I think that practicing on the chair with that support underneath me then helped my muscle memory or my pathways to recognize the shape when I was on the mat. There he goes.
Beautiful.
It's always got to be a movie star.
Yes.
And then be able to practice that on the mat with so much more confidence. And now I find I love that shape on the mat, but I never enjoyed it before. So I think that when we get on the chair, we're really stripping it back to and as we're working through the progressions of the shape, instead we start with a strong foundation, which is sometimes lacking, I think, as you're flowing through shapes. There's no setup, there's no preparation, there's no warm-ups either in a lot of classes. I'm not saying all classes,
No.
definitely there's some beautiful
Yes.
well-rounded classes out there, but yeah, it's missing in a lot of classes, and straight into a dog, and there's no preparation for the body or the mind. So you're starting your practice in a place where you feel maybe a bit unsafe or a bit unsteady already, and then how do you go from there, you know, to more comfortable? So at least we sort of start, because we start always in sitting mountain.
Yes.
He's coming. This is going to be a thing, and we're setting people up from the beginning to feel safe and supported. So
Yeah.
I think that really helps as well.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And you also offer yoga therapy. So can you talk to us a bit about that?
So yoga therapy, I mentioned before in the intro, is a bit, it's more of a individual approach. So we have an individual approach within the group sessions as well, by offering all the options. This is more, I guess, like a therapy session. So you would have, you know, a consultation at the beginning, which would go into all the different areas where we might need to be looking to find the answers to what you're presenting within your physical body, or whatever you're coming from. Maybe it's a mental health challenge, maybe it's an emotional thing. So we look to all the layers, and then the person is given a kind of like a prescription for their practice, their individual practice. So they will do a session with you, but then have home practice as well. So, and then that's reviewed often, because as we know, we're always changing and growing, and even after a week, things can shift in someone as well, or something might not feel right anymore. So we're constantly updating that as we go through. So it's a little bit more intensive and individualized, I guess. Yeah. So you may do it with a group, like say you had like a small group, say of five people who've been experiencing living with cancer or something. You might offer that as like a yoga therapy group. So then you can work through together with that, and it's a beautiful experience to help people connect with other people as well there. Small groups, or to help with them to work towards their own healing, because you can never heal anyone. They have to heal themselves. You can offer them the tools and techniques that might help them.
Yes. And what have you seen, what type of changes have you seen in people with the yoga therapy? You know, say someone might come to you in a wheelchair, and getting that movement and the confidence, and someone supporting them through their physical ailments. What have you seen as some of the benefits?
Yeah, but one client that I'm seeing at the moment, he was, we did just chair basically when I first started there, and is quite balanced in his body and different things. He has a brain injury, so we actually had a double brain injury. So he had the injury and then re-injured after he was on the road to recovery. So it's been really traumatic, and there's a lot of anger and things as well. And he was quite quiet when I first met him, but he's really been coming out of his shell a bit more during our sessions, and he would always be looking down, and when he looks up, it's like this big smile comes on his face because we connect, you know. But in his physical body, he's just started being able to sit and stand by himself without putting weight on my hands, which he would do before. And then even in Warrior 2, he's getting more confident to take his hands off, because he'd be holding the chair beforehand, and we would be, me and his partner would kind of be around in case he wobbled one side or the other. And now we don't need to really be there, and he can let go of both hands. And he was even doing crossed legs, standing with one foot crossed over the other and hugging himself. So he was like, and that is like, your center of gravity is so tiny there, so that's actually really challenging for most people. But I was so impressed with that. So he's definitely come a long way just from having that. And the thing that I kept saying to him was trust in your feet, trust in your legs to hold you. And I think once he started to do that again, to find that trust in himself, that's when the changes really started happening. So
And do you find that yoga having that more, and this is my interpretation, that more spiritual approach to fitness with, looking after yourself, being kind to yourself with your words and what you do, has a deeper way of reaching and healing a person?
Yes. If you only look at the surface, if you only look at the physical injury or challenge that's presenting, you'll probably never actually heal yourself. It's almost like a band-aid solution, because I think, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers. Someone's probably done some studies on this somewhere,
Yeah.
but probably 9 times out of 10, there's an emotional reason behind your injury, or especially if it's something chronic or it's something that is recurring. Like I'm waking up with these neck challenges. I'm like, what? Okay, what's going on? What do I need to learn? What's happening?
Yes.
Why is this coming back?
Exactly.
And it's really interesting, and because the body holds a lot of memory, so and the mind. So when something triggers you, even if it doesn't feel like a bad trigger necessarily, like the other day I was doing high-low aerobics in my living room. I just decided I wanted to get back into freestyle aerobics, and my calf muscle decided it would tear itself, just because that happened to my class when I was teaching. And it was like, I believe that was the reason. It was like just a reminder to go at it differently this time. And it was better within a week. And that's really not normal. So, but I was able to rest it. That was the difference. And see, back then I would have just kept going, or I would have been in the middle of the class and not be able to stop. So it was interesting. Everything. I think that most things that happen to our physical body come from emotion. So then you're looking at, or maybe it's an energetic disruption or something there. So we look at more than just that physical movement and things. So I think that's where yoga therapy really differs from physio, or chiro works a bit different again. And then, I mean, everything again has its place. I'm not saying that aren't necessary, because there's also things that we can't do with yoga, right?
Yes.
We can work together and have such a more fruitful result for people on a holistic level.
Absolutely. Yes, because not every practice towards well-being perhaps has a focus on the breath or a meditation or relaxing. But you're right, it all comes together for the betterment, I guess, of the body, the mind and the soul.
That's right, because it's all connected. And I guess yoga therapy is kind of based on that, the 5 layers, of the body, breath, mind, the energy, and the spirit as well.
Yes.
Body, did I say them all? Body, breath, mind, emotions, energy, and then the spirit and center. So we know that if something happens with your breath, then your emotions are going to change. Like if your breath starts, you start breathing like that, you're going to get stressed out. Your mind going to say something's wrong, we need to get into fight or flight mode, and then your body's going to go, oh my gosh.
That's right.
It's like, so everything is interrelated, and one thing always affects another. So even if it is a physical injury that is simply physical, it's going to have an effect on the other layers of you. So you need to approach it as a whole being, not just as a physical thing.
Yes,
I think that's well, I don't want to get into medicine and all that, but like that's where Western medicine's missing a big chunk of their ability to heal people, is through not recognizing the deeper layers of the being. Maybe omitting it is more the the thing than not recognizing, and only treating that surface level. Oh, you've got a headache, take a tablet. You've got a cut, put on it, but we need to go deeper.
Yes, absolutely. And really, and that's the whole concept of the podcast, is to bring in that bit of balance towards medicine and other ways of treating yourself. And if we have them going along one side, alongside one another, we can reach perfection in health, body, mind, and soul.
I really believe that, and it's good to see. And I was talking to someone whose son is studying medicine, and she's someone who did our course as well. And she was saying that they were starting to learn about more integrated practices within the course. So that was really interesting to hear, because I don't believe that was a part of it beforehand. So hopefully that means the next generations of doctors that come out will be a bit more open to working alongside other practitioners and other people that can offer different things to what they do, because what they offer is valuable too, you know. But it, again, like you said, that working side by side is so much more powerful. You know, but I've been to the doctor when they're like, oh, what are you going to a naturopath for?
Yes.
Can I do anything about my diet? No, just take this tablet for the rest of your life. That's it.
Yeah.
So you kind of lose faith in those ones.
Yes. But I hear more and more things where we are becoming more into alignment like that. Like, you know, Reiki in hospitals now, meditation in
yoga
hospitals.
therapy as well.
Yeah, yoga, yes, absolutely. It's fantastic. And we're going to make a bit of a change here from the yoga to Zumba.
Oh, that's easy for a Gemini.
Let's do that change.
Just get my other personality out. Here we are.
Exactly. So what a change. And I'd love to hear about the Zumba, because it's a totally different way of fitness and way of well-being. So,
well, I love it. I think I was talking to someone the other day about it, how when I started in the fitness industry, it was all like aerobics, and you kind of had to be this, you know, it's a bit more ego focused. And then there was also the thing of like competitiveness competition between the instructors or the coordinators, and there was this ego everywhere, right? It's the gym. And it's still present, but I think it has changed a lot in the last maybe 10 years or so, maybe because Zumba came along. I don't know, but the thing with when I started Zumba, it was like we were taught from the very beginning that we are all a family and we all want to like help each other out, lift each other up, and do all the things that it should be about, you know. And even like, you know, in the classes, everybody's welcome. There are instructors of all different shapes and sizes, which you wouldn't really see in the fitness industry so much. I mean, I was skinny, but I was never really built or anything like that. And someone said to me in the class once, oh, that was a really good, because it was a cycle class. That was a really good class. When I came in, I didn't expect it to be when I looked at you, but that was a really good class, like things like that, right?
Oh, wow.
Okay. I loved the freedom of Zumba, that it really just accepted everyone as they were, and kind of like Che and just encouraged people that maybe didn't feel comfortable going to the gym, or maybe didn't feel comfortable on the you know, doing the classes there or whatever, or teaching, to be involved. And it was like, you know, it doesn't matter if you make a mistake, it's just dance follow. Like, you know, the emphasis is on having fun, you know, and it's such a different experience. So so all that pressure was gone. So I love it. And it's amazing how it has helped people with their confidence and being in their own selves and feeling good about themselves and feeling happy, and it releases all the endorphins as well. But even just the wooing, like, you know, I mean, the whole thing of like whatever you want to do. the participants are encouraged to join in and make noise. And a lot of people that I was teaching in the seniors community were from countries or generations really, and it still is present in my generation, in a lot of people being told to dim themselves down and to be quiet. So you would see people do their first woo and they'd be like, and then they'd be like, nobody cares. Woo! And then they'd never stop again.
Oh, that is
that
must be amazing to see.
Yeah. Oh, so good. And just really, it brings tears to your eyes, because you just think, wow, like, we should all be doing that out in the street all the time, and just be living our lives as we are beautiful, vibrant beings, you know. But I love that. The music's fun. It helps with my Spanish. And I've just made so many friends through that, and so many beautiful people in all the classes. There's just not really much room for ego. We're taught to leave that at the door, and teachers as well. I mean, of course, there's a bit in there of it, but but like, you know, even with covering classes, you know, sometimes people would be overly protective about classes and try to be better than other people and steal people's clients and things, but that just really doesn't happen much in the Zumba world. If people are like that, they probably don't last very long, because it's just not that type of place.
And how amazing to go and do a workout, dancing, music, fun,
you know? Yeah, and it goes so fast as well. Yeah.
So do they actually have, when you do your Zumba, do you have set steps that you show or lead, or it's just music on, do what you want?
No, you can do music on, do what you want if you want. So even within that, you know, like a lot of the programs that came out were very scripted and very, like the Les Mills programs, for example. It was a DVD. You had to learn everything they said. You had to learn everything they did and copy that and present it, basically. So, but Zumba, they give you every month, they give you a DVD that has 2 sets of choreography on it. So you can mix and match, or you can come up with your own if you want to. You can use their music, or you can use music that you want to use as well. So there's just like so much freedom, even as an instructor, to choose what feels right for you and what's right for your class as well. But there are, you know, basic rhythms and basic steps to those rhythms, and then once you learn those basic steps, so you might have the salsa step, which is always going to be a 1 2 3 and 1 2 3, but it might be in different directions, or the cumbia step, you know, or whatever. And then once you learn those basic steps, then there's arm variations, or there's directional changes or things like that. But so when people first come along, sometimes they're like, whoa, because it's always like that, because we don't really sort of break it down step by step from the beginning, because it's meant to be fun. So we don't want people to do too much, just have fun. But if I see people needing to just run over something, I will stop and do that, and then, you know, teach them those steps or something like that. So but most of the time, after about 2 or 3 sessions, people have got those basic moves, because it's simple. We don't make it too fancy, you know. It's just it's just lots of fun, and not too much to remember, not too much to start. Just get in there and have a dance. You know?
Awesome. Well, it's funny, I was having this conversation last night that I could dance all night. Put me in the gym and I'll be battling to do half an hour, you know.
I know. I know, it's so interesting. Like running.
No, me neither. No.
But I used to be able to do Zumba 5 times a day.
And I don't know what it is, but for me it's the fun, the freedom, and the constant change to be able to move the way you want to move. And
self-expression, really, isn't it? It's just it's not scripted, it's not rigid, it's free. You can do it in the chair as well. I mean,
why not? Just get the rhythm happening, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I used to have someone who came in a wheelchair, and that's the other thing. She actually she was about my age as well, and she wanted to do some fitness, because she had, you know, able mind, able upper body, just her legs didn't feel anything. And so she was able to move around and to follow things and everything, and she asked 7 places before she found our class, and they all said no. They all said no to her. And I was just like, what? Like, I mean, I guess partly they may not have known what to do or how to include her. It could have been a venue issue as well, maybe there was stairs or something. But that's, I mean, how hard does she have to try to attend class? I mean, it's hard enough for someone able-bodied to just go and do it, right? Like, to get there and to feel comfortable there, and then to have that experience before you even get somewhere, or to even have to call to say, can I come? You know, so she ended up coming to our class, which was a seniors class, but fit right in. We all just had fun together. It didn't matter really about age or anything. It was just, it was a beautiful experience. And
wonderful.
Made sure I added more things in sometimes where there was mostly legs, or I would give her options for doing arms. If we were doing, say, squats or something, I would just be saying you can do some arms or pushing on the chair or something like that. So it was easy to include her.
Oh goodness, I can certainly hear your passion for, no matter where a person is at on their life journey, go and see Claire, and there's
I'll sort you out.
Yes, exactly. And you've got that layering of support, you know, because it isn't just like we've been talking about. It's not just the physical. And when we can get through the emotion and start to get the happy endorphins going through, the body just seems a bit more free to move, doesn't it? And then we can concentrate on the fitness.
Also, helping people to feel safe as well, because if people don't feel safe, then they're never going to be able to heal, really, because they won't feel safe enough to process everything or to even access it sometimes. So
to go.
They're holding on to in that fight or flight mode. So we have to be able to help them feel safe. And I think that's the beauty of the chair. It really does offer that safety for people, especially if there's fear of falling or fear of whatever. And even just having that freedom to be yourself helps to facilitate healing. Really.
Yeah.
Not be judged, not be, oh, you're not doing it right, or whatever. Like, you know, it's
fantastic.
Like,
So how do people, with all the offerings, your chair yoga, the yoga therapy, and your Zumba, how do people find out about your different classes, get more information about all that you do?
Well, I have 2 websites because I'm a Gemini, so one for each personality. But if they want to find out about chair yoga and yoga therapy is also on there, and actually the bookings for Zumba are on this website, so I'll give them this one. It's www.getfitwhereyousit.com.au, and that's my main website. I also have zumbafiesta.com.au if they want to just learn a bit more about the Zumba classes. But yeah, I teach online on Zoom and also in-person classes around Sydney and in-person sessions around Sydney for yoga therapy as well. But we can also do via Zoom from anywhere in the world.
Fantastic. And what I will do, listeners, is as always, I'll put that the contact information in the written part of the intro of the podcast. So check that out. And do you also have Facebook?
I do. Yes. You can just, I don't really use Instagram for Zumba, but just look on Instagram, it's LVCYAU, which is LVC Yoga Australia. And the same on Facebook, just LVC Yoga Australia.
Excellent. I'll put that information in there as well, and go check it out, because it's fun to be fit and healthy and doing it in a way that you feel comfortable and supported, and you certainly offer that.
Thank you. Try my best.
Awesome. That is great. Do you have anything new on the horizon?
I have a teacher training in Sydney coming up at the end of the month, and I'm going to be offering another virtual classroom teacher training for chair yoga probably in March this year. And we always have our one-on-one training available anytime for anyone that wants to do the training that way, and that's a bit more of self-study and like what you did. So self-study, and then we meet for Zoom sessions, so it's a little bit more personalized. And then we've got the group virtual classroom as well. So so that will be coming up soon. Unfortunately, it's a bit hard to travel still at the moment. It's a bit risky booking trainings and you know, not knowing quite whether they'll go ahead or not. So I've had a lot of cancellations, which has broken my heart over the last 2 years. So I might give it another year and start back with those ones. And but I love getting around to all the different cities and meeting people. So that will be really great to get back to that. What else? That's it, really.
And that's all on your website?
Yeah, it's all on there. It's all on there, and people can reach out if they have any questions as well, of course.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being on the podcast and sharing all that you do, from the tranquil chair yoga to the Zumba. They're all options, aren't they? There's just so much out there, and you've got them all in that range. So fantastic. Listeners, please check out the website and have a look what's on virtual, online, or in person. I wish you all the best of success with everything that you do, and I look forward to the time when you are coming to South Australia and I can come and meet you in person.
Definitely, can't wait for that. Can't wait for that. I still have it on the website as a TBC, so I'm still planning it's going to happen one day.
That'll be fantastic.
Definitely, that will be beautiful.
Awesome, and thank you again, and maybe we'll catch up again one day.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
See you. Bye.